Welcome to the Awakened Human Podcast, the place to be for highly progressive yet extremely grounded intuitive guidance, energetic support, metaphysical tools, and higher consciousness for highly successful, ambitious, soul-centered visionaries and leaders like you who want to make a global impact and achieve your highest fulfillment by aligning with your soul's true divine agenda and your role in God's plan of lighted creation, and by utilizing your divine gifts, talents, and abilities from the higher realms. We do this by working with the non-physical realms of higher guidance, energy, intuition, and powerful metaphysical tools for healing and transformation. We understand that the real change and transformation that's being called for on planet Earth and in our own lives and our own businesses doesn't come from outside of us, but rather from within. And that the change that we desire to experience in our lives and in our world requires us to change from the inside. I'm your host, Lori Ann Spagna. I'm a best-selling author, spiritual catalyst, intuitive, energy worker, ascension guide, multidimensional channel, animal communicator, visionary, lightworker, and luminary. I have dedicated my entire professional life to helping thousands and thousands of humans and animals all over the world in service and contribution to the light, which is the expansion, the upliftment, the evolution of humanity, to awaken, to uplift, and to align with our true divine source, which exists within each and every one of us. It is my passion, joy, and purpose to share this information, energy, and consciousness with you. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing time with me. Let's get started.
Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to today's podcast. Today, we're going to talk about reevaluating your relationship to yourself and others. And this conversation I'm going to continue in future episodes. So, stay tuned. We're not going to cover it all today. It's a big topic. But I really want to address it because it's a theme. And it's generally, by the way, in numerology, I teach you all about this in two particular areas, which are inside of both the Sacred Visionary Mentorship Program and the Sacred Membership Program. But right relationship to self and others, it's a thrilling topic, and it's covered even in numerology when we're looking at the number 2. Because 2 oftentimes has to do with relationship, and relationship can be to other people, places, things, groups, and experiences, and relationship to self and source, right? It's just the idea that there's 2. So you can have a right relationship with yourself, and this is the fundamental teaching. What I want to share today is that if you develop and cultivate a right relationship with yourself, and if you develop a right relationship with your source, which source can be defined by you, right? Your unique relationship with your source. What do I mean? God, Creator, Holy Spirit, the divine, the infinite, the quantum field, right? Whatever it is for you, however you understand that, however you strengthen and cultivate your unifying connection with your source of the infinite, the all that is, right? It can be love, it can be peace, consciousness, right? So when you cultivate your right relationship with self and source, relationship to everything and everyone else will fall into place. I need to say it again, because that's the name of this call today. That is the topic today. It is all about evaluating your right relationship, reevaluating your relationship to self and others. So as you cultivate, strengthen, and develop your relationship to yourself and to your source, all other relationships to other people, places, things, groups, experiences will fall into place. Every relationship in the external world, in other words, with other people, with other groups, with organizations, with locations where you live, your own home, your pets, they will all improve. Every relationship you have will improve as you work on the relationship with yourself and your source. So I want to share a story that some of you may have heard before. I actually really love this story. I'm going to share two similar stories. And then I want to tell you something amazing that's been happening in terms of right relationship for me this week that I think will be helpful for you. So years and years ago, and this has been kind of a theme in my life, is having to resolve issues with false authorities, right? If you understand the concept of false authorities and what a major role that has played on earth, right? We're moving out of a paradigm of false external authorities, and those false external authorities typically show up as government, as big banks, financial institutions, as the schooling system, the educational system, food and water, beverages, right? The food and nutrition standard American diet type of system, right? What we've been told by companies who want to sell us. The things that companies that want to sell dog food have BS people, and cat food, animal, pet food. Oh my goodness, don't get me started. The other false authorities, big tech now, big pharma, the stuff, the brainwashing on those commercials. Oh my goodness, it's amazing, right? And who am I missing? You guys know. Someone. Schooling, education, healthcare, which includes insurance, big tech. I think I covered them. I'm missing someone. Education, food and beverage. Okay, regardless, let me move on. So we're moving out of an age of religion and spirituality. Yes. All the big controllers, right? So we're moving out of an age. I might still have been missing one, but I think they're pretty much all there. So we're moving out of an age of allowing false authorities to dictate our reality to us and reclaiming the authority from within. And the way we reclaim the authority from within is by cultivating our relationship with ourself, our right relationship. This is beyond self-nurture and self-care and self-repair, but those are definitely part of it. Self-nurturing, self-care, self-repair, self-love, self-healing, right? All of those things that fall under self-inner work, right? And work is self-inner healings, the inner roadmap to unification with yourself, right? I've been a self-help junkie my whole life. So that's been, the major part of my journey. And if you're listening to me, chances are you must have been on a self-help, joyride too of some kind. Not always so joyful, right? A roller coaster ride. But regardless, right? And then the next way to restoration of right relationship and restoring your right relationship is through your relationship with source. So away from false authorities and back to true authority, right? And when you start doing this, you would never cause harm to anyone else anyway. You don't need false authorities to tell you right from wrong because you would not cause harm to another person, not intentionally, not ever. All right, regardless where I was going with this was the two stories. So years ago, I was struggling with the false authorities, and I really resented police officers. I resented them. They got to carry guns. They got to just give you tickets, and, and I knew it was a resentment, and I really wanted to heal it, and I didn't want to be angry at police officers, and I asked for help. And that very night, I happened to be at some kind of holistic fair event, and I was sitting around a table with somebody who worked with police officers. And I asked him, please, can you help me have another? I told him, he was wonderful, right? And I just told him, this is how I've always felt. I feel this resentment that they get to give you tickets and they get to pull out guns. And they can do all these things to force you. And I don't think that's fair, that they have the right to force you. And he said, these people are going out risking their lives every day to help and to serve and to protect. And some of them know, that they're working for this corrupted government system. But some of them know, and they're just trying to be better and do better. Others are corrupted themselves, but, see the good in them. And he changed my life, that guy. Because from that moment on, I really got it. I made peace with the peace officers, and it changed my life. I never got another ticket again. I never had any more fear about them. Every time I went by, I would just in my head, namaste, thank you. Because I just wish them peace. Because they're peace officers here to keep the peace and help. And it changed me. I made peace, right? With these so-called false authorities. But the only one that needed to change was me. The way I perceived them. And because I never got another ticket, and now there's no fear, there's no resentment. And one time I did get pulled over fairly recently, and the woman, I had no resentment. I was so respectful of her, and she just let me off. She's like, yeah, just fix this. It was a minor little thing. The sticker on my car was like at the end of the month. I mean, in a way I could have gone to judgment. Like, why is she being so anal? I still have the rest of the month. But in any case, I really didn't. I just was true to how I felt. Like, oh, she's just here to be of service, here to help. So she let me off. Like, no ticket, nothing. She could have gone in another direction, right? Changed my life because of that one shift. This is a big lesson, right? If you can take that and apply it in your life anywhere, you'll start to see that when you make the change within yourself, it'll change relationships in the external reality. Okay, I want to give another example here. So along the same lines, and some of you have heard this story too, probably, those of you who know me well, I used to despise TSA. All right. Why did I despise them? Because it wasn't that I despised them prior to the 9/11 World Trade Center bombings. It was from then on, because the escalation of their powers became gratuitous and was linked to what I knew to be and I apologize if I push anyone's buttons, just my perspective, take it or leave it. You don't have to agree. But at that time, I had this perspective that is linked to a very big con job that was put on humanity. There was a conspire to escalate control, domination, and manipulation over humans. And there was a so-called false flag. Now, for those of you who know this, you won't be triggered at all. For those of you who have no idea, you can do the research on the names I just dropped. Otherwise, you can always inquire. But look, here's the point. I had this resentment of TSA. And I didn't like that they could just, pat you down. I didn't like that they could just take things from you. I didn't like the ridiculousness of some of the rules that were being put in place. Like, oh, you can't take your water with you. Why? So that someone could profit on the other side by you having to buy water. Like, some of it was so stupid to me. Didn't make sense. And I was just angry that we were, as a society, blindly letting these false authorities dictate what we could and couldn't do to such an extreme that was so ridiculous to me. Okay, you could probably hear some of the charge in the language, but really the charge, like, I get it, right? I had to make peace with them. Because every time I went through, I was so resentful and I was in so much judgment that I was getting these like massive pat downs and searching, and people were like feeling my body parts that no one should touch without my full and complete consent, right? And I just didn't like the experience I was having. And I was getting like my luggage was getting sorted. It was slowing me down when I was going through the airports. And it was really annoying. And I realized, like, I have to shift this. What do I need to change? Because I was just resentful about it. And I knew it was a big conspiracy. Like, I just wasn't into it. So I went to a healer friend because I couldn't, like, it was my own blind spot. And she said to me, you're just rejecting the customs of the people here. You're a star seed, if you're familiar with that languaging. And it was really helpful. So I just did some healing on myself after that and asked for God's consciousness. I learned a lot about the TSA people, that not all of them, like some of them are working through other lifetimes where they abused power, such as like some of them, not all of them, certainly not all of them, but some of them were Nazis and they abused their power. And so they're working through those issues. They're coming into more harmony themselves. That was so helpful for me to get that download, that thought, guidance from God, source creator God. And then some of them are working through reclaiming their power. And that's not an arena for them to do it in a more supervised way. That really helped me shift on that. And then also just recognizing, like, yeah, if it's really true that I am from another planet to some degree, and I believe it is to some degree, right? And I'm integrated with the version of me that's from other planet. Integrated, braided starseed, that's another conversation for another time. It is important that I respect and honor the customs here. It is important. I didn't come here to judge it all and blame it and condemn it and crucify it. I came here to support and assist and to honor and respect, right? So once I made that shift in myself, and I did include energy healing. So it wasn't just a shift I made in my brain. It was an internal shift I made. Once I made it, I was full on. I completely shifted. And I started to see the kindness in the TSA people and the smiles on their face. I started to relate to them in a different way when I'd go through. I started to respect and honor them and appreciate them for who they were as souls and what they were doing. Well, needless to say, I never, ever, ever again had an issue. Never, nothing. Pat downs. I still do the pat downs because I won't go through those machines, and neither should you. I'm not shitting on you, but I really don't think you should. Those are not healthy for your body. They interfere, but that's another conversation. Regardless, but they're always just the women, because you get a female opt out. Respectful, honoring, kind, zip, in through and out the other side, done. No problem, right? Because I changed my relationship from inside to something that I perceived in the outside world. So you can do this too. Look around in your world, and I'm going to share a third conversation I want to have with you, something totally different, but on this topic area. Wherever you're having struggles in relationship, notice it doesn't have to be just another person. The two examples I gave were just groups of a kind of people, right? It wasn't any individual necessarily. Just look in your life wherever you might have that. So wherever you see or feel injustice, for example, or any kind of wrongness, wherever you're at odds with something in your life or your world where you feel that the relationship isn't working for you, right? And see if you can reevaluate it in such a way that can bring more harmony to you. It's not only a mindset shifting thing. I do want to say it's much more than mindset. It's a new level, frequency, and vibration of consciousness when it's done completely, right? Regardless of whether it's that, and I'm still going to get to the third story I want to give you, but wherever there are relationships in your life, whether they're to people or groups or locations, this is a time, especially when we're in years with a lot of twos, and we are 2024, 2025, 2026. We're going to be going through this all the way through to 2029, at least. We're dealing with relationship issues. And again, that doesn't mean just people, but reevaluate the relationships in your life. Now, I could talk about this a lot longer, but overall, if you're talking about relationships to other people, individuals, where are you in harmony with the people, where you feel safe, where when you get on the phone call, it just feels easy and graceful. You don't have to walk on eggshells. You don't have to be careful of everything you say or how you say it or what you say. And consider that. Where is it when you show up or you are in proximity to that person or those people? Overall, it feels good. It feels right. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. It feels uplifting in some way or expansive or just peaceful or harmonious. Like, how do those relationships feel? And then what relationships, if any, is there turbulence or, walking on eggshells or being careful of everything you say or having to worry not to say something wrong or that you might take a misstep, and reevaluate and always do the inner work first. And that's where you get help from a healer or a guide or a mentor if you're not sure. But also really evaluate, are the relationships in your life serving you in the best ways? And that would mean with harm to none. And that would mean that they're serving the other person too. If it's a person, even if it's your home, your house, or your neighborhood. This was a big one for me. Many of you guys know I'm on the road. I'm traveling cross country, from Florida up north, finding my new home. And one of the things that I was living with in Florida for many years, and I knew what was going on. I was tolerating it in my comfort zone, right? I would go out during the day and immediately my energetic sensitivity felt bombarded. I was always wrestling with the external world. Why? Because in Florida, there's a lot of manicuring of land so that lawnmowers, leaf blowers are constantly going all day. There's chemicals. They use a lot of chemicals. They're big into Monsanto chemicals on the golf courses. They use so many chemicals to manicure the grasses, the leaves, overly manicured, overly chemicaled. And then, of course, there's just this overall, like a lot of noise there. There's a lot of trucks and people with loud noises on their cars. I'm a highly sensitive being. And so I loved Florida for the water, the swimming, beach. I loved that. I loved being able to swim in a pool 24 hours a day, like anytime I wanted. And so I was sticking around for that. And that would always restore me to peace, harmony, and balance. Like I could go to the beach or I could go swim. I loved rain when the rain would come because just peak seasons of rain. Then, of course, there's seasons where you don't get any. But the point is, I would restore myself and I would tolerate it during the day. And then at nighttime, I'd go out and I'd go for long walks. And because Florida is a very active place during the day, but at night people go in because they're active all day. It's sunny all day, every day. And there's an older population in general, so people would go to sleep early, or, once it got dark, they would just stay inside. So that's how I managed. I'd restore every evening. And if I wasn't on the beach, I had to be inside pretty much during the day. And over the past few years, the population has just massively increased. The building has gotten way just out of control, how much they're overbuilding. And my system was always in shock. So eventually I realized I need to leave because I can't keep, restoring myself to balance every night and then getting off balance every day because I'm not living in a harmonious place for me and for my sensitivity. Not that that's wrong for somebody else. So this is another relationship to your environment, to where you live, right? So this is a year to reevaluate in the next few years the right relationships in your life and to bring yourself back into harmony and balance, right? Restore that inner feeling good almost all the time, right? Energetically, right? I hope this is making sense. All right, I want to share that last story and then I'm going to start to wrap up. It actually would be a great story for a whole episode in and of itself, but I'll do that in a future episode. But for now, I'll share the abbreviated version. So I've been traveling, as you know, and as I've mentioned, and relocating. I'm in the process of relocating, but I'm enjoying myself along the way. I love traveling and I love just taking my time. I really don't know where I'm going to go, further than 7 days out. And even that, right now, I don't know where I'm going to go in 3 more days from now. That's okay, right? I'm all good with it. But my point is as I'm on the road and as I'm taking a lot more time because I haven't been working as much, I'm getting some beautiful guidance. And my team in that non-physical has been coming in so much, so clear, constantly very reassuring me a lot and telling me a lot about things I just have never known before, things I would never have known to ask about my other lifetimes, my journey, what I'm here for. And I'm not new to this stuff, so it's pretty amazing to be still getting new progressive information here. And a lot of times, yesterday we were doing these hikes through the falls with my dog, and it was getting dark, and my team was telling me how to go, and they're telling me certain things like there's a bridge up ahead, you're going to have to cross that bridge, it'll be fine. And I'm like, I don't remember a bridge. And they were like, you'll see, there's a bridge there. And I'm saying, I think you better not be lying to me. And then they started telling me we are giving you so much reassurance that everything is fine because you're at a juncture in your life where you're restoring a kind of trust that you didn't have in your own team. And you're recalibrating to a whole new level of trust. So we're going to be constantly reassuring you during these travels because you're upgrading and up-leveling in a whole new way. And it's just amazing. I'm going to spend a whole lot more time sharing about this on a future episode because it's so good about following your guidance and trusting your guidance. And like the conversations that are going on that are not me talking or thinking, they're me listening and receiving and hearing with my consciousness. Not the same thing as hearing with your ears or the inner, canals of your ears. So what I'm saying is I'm strengthening my relationship with my own divine team. I'm not praying to them. I'm just allowing them to guide, lead, and reassure me, even at times when I'm like, okay, it's getting dark. I don't know where I'm going, or I don't know what the next curve is, or, where's the best place for me to go next, or anything like that, or take care of my car, like with all the luggage in it while I'm parked there. Or yesterday we were like, don't worry, your car is fine. Don't worry, just untouched and unbothered, exactly where you left it. So they're always reassuring me in this really beautiful, loving, kind, gentle way. And they're just saying we're rebuilding trust with you that was lost in other lifetimes, that you're meant to reclaim at this time. And it's so beautiful, right? And this is what I mean about relationship with self and source. Because my team they're not God itself, but they're part of the divine that I'm part of me unifying with the infinite, all that is, part of me unifying with the aspects of me that have not been, or not have that, the parts of me that have not always felt that I could trust as much, or the part of me that didn't always feel as supported in the higher realms in my own journey. So see, this is what I'm saying. And I'm going to start to wrap here now. This is all about us restoring this time. And in the next years, reevaluating and restoring our right relationship. Our right relationships to others, people, places, groups, organizations. Our right relationship to ourselves and our source. And yes, our right relationships with our own divine team, whether they're angels or guides, guardians, other benevolents who come in, or our own higher self. And those are all aspects of one source, one divinity, right? But they all function as individual aspects, just like we do. So reevaluate. I'm inviting you to consider these things in your life. I'm inviting you to consider right relationship and what that means to you and what's important to you inside of healthy relationship. What really is important to you? Do you want peace and harmony? Like, I have friends, I know quite a few couples, they bicker all the time. They get in a fight. It's a little explosive and then it's over. And then they're back to like it never happened. And for them, that's okay. They don't mind that fire. For me, that's not okay. That's not comfortable. I wouldn't enjoy that. But I understand if it works for someone, that's their choice. So what's healthy for you in right relationship? What kind of relationship do you want to have with yourself, with your divine team, with your angels and guides and masters and teachers and loved ones in the non-physical? What kind of relationship do you want to have with your home, with your environment? What kind of relationship do you want to have with groups and organizations in your world? What feels right to you? What feels good to you? What feels aligned for you? What do you want to cultivate? What do you want to heal and resolve? What do you want to perhaps bless and release and say, this just doesn't work anymore. This isn't working for me. And that's okay too. So that is the invitation for this particular podcast episode. I will do more on this topic. I love this topic. I spent a lifetime learning about relationship-related issues. I probably could make a business just on that, right? Because it's just so powerful and profound and such an important part of our journey. Even right relationship to your own body. I didn't talk about that too much today maybe for another episode and another podcast, because that's certainly a major issue for people. Right and healthy relationship with the body. But for now, I'm going to say farewell, and I'm wishing you your best as always. I hope this has been helpful to you. As always, take what serves you. And if it has been helpful, please leave a comment or share it, or let me know. Give me some feedback and let me know what else you want to hear about or learn about so I can expand on those topics as well. And once again, I'm going to wish you your most benevolent best. Thank you for participating and joining me today, and send you so much love. All right, farewell for now. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening today. If you loved the show and if you benefited in any way, if it helped you to up-level or expand your consciousness, if you gained any new insights or ideas, if it made you think or become more aware, or if there were some strategies or intuition that you may have benefited from in any way, would you please do me 2 easy and simple favors? First, if you would be willing to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I'd be so grateful. And second, if you're willing to share this show with anyone else who would benefit, you can either post it on your social media or just email it to someone and share it with another person or any other people. It would be so awesome. This kind of thing is so helpful in expanding consciousness on the planet and helping others to benefit from this kind of teaching, which just simply isn't generally readily available in the mainstream. So sharing it really helps others benefit and helps our planet evolve and awaken. Plus, expressing gratitude and generosity in this way will also expand your capacity to give and receive even more. Either way, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for participating and for sharing, and overall, just for being the magnificent, the spectacular, the brilliant, the fabulous, the wonderful you that you truly are, and for allowing yourself to be the very best version of you today and every day. All my love and gratitude to you.